Alright, welcome back, ladies and gents. This is another episode of Ruji Talks. Today, I am, fortunate to have a special guest for this session. This is Nonori. I can't pronounce your last name. Can you pronounce it for me?
Nonori Rereyl.
Rereyl. Obviously, from his accent, he is not from America. So, I've known this guy since I started playing 1.23. And today, we're going to talk about. Obviously, we play Final Fantasy, and we're both Final Fantasy fans. I would like to talk about basically how we were introduced to Final Fantasy and our big reason of why we enjoy it, and what was what is our favorite and why, and what is our we feel like is the worst. Am I wrong saying that you are a Final Fantasy fan? I'm putting this big assumption on you right now. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Final Fantasy is a good game.
The whole franchise in general.
I haven't really played that many, but I do love 8, 9, and what's the other one I played? Oh, Crystal Chronicles, but I don't know if that really counts.
I would. It's still part of the franchise. I would still count that.
But yeah.
Was that your very first? What was your first Final Fantasy game?
FF8, when I was like, what, 12 or something.
Hold on, give me a sec. I need to lower the volume of this game because this is the same issue I had last episode. People were telling me that the volume of the game was too loud, so I gotta adjust it. But this tank has a shit ton of mobs with him. I can't do it right now.
Can't stop. Oh god.
I got stolen vigil for the third time in a row. They really need it. There's something wrong with the algorithm with the expert dungeons. It keeps picking it. I don't know if that's supposed to be working as intended or what.
Do you think maybe some people are specifically queuing for it?
It could be. I don't know. Like, is there a rich? There's a rich amount of leather. Excuse me, leather working armor here for descending. Personally, for me, I would not see. There should be an equal amount of Hullbreaker and Stone Vigil. I would like you guys' input, like your views out there. Like, are you guys having the same issue in your data center on your personal server? Like, are you always getting Stone Vigil, or do you tend to get something else? I'm just very curious about that. At least for here on Hyperion and on the Proud Data Center, we get a shit ton of Stone Vigil. So please let me know, because I am honestly curious about that. But anyways, let me lower this volume. Crowd's almost dead. Okay, so anyways, so we have something in common. We both started with Final Fantasy VIII. Like, how were you introduced to Final Fantasy VIII? Like, how did you pick up that game? Like, is a friend suggested to you, or?
My cousins had a PS1 and they were bought FF8 by their dad. No one actually played it for like a year, but eventually we picked it up and played it together, and we eventually finished, and yeah, that's how I started FF. Basically through my cousins.
Do you have any kind of like sentimental value with it? Like, do you have any like big memories? Is there a reason why? Is 8 your favorite? You said.
It's my favorite for sure. Yeah.
Oh, like what's your personal reason? Because I totally agree with you. I like 8. I started with 8, but I did trickle down to play the earlier ones too, just to see what it's all about later on down the line. But I have a personal reason of why I enjoyed 8 the most, because I personally could relate to it. And I will explain it to you later. But out of my curiosity, what is your reason for having 8 as your favorite? Because obviously you kind of know. In general, the FF community, it's a love-hate relationship with 8. You know, some people hate 8, some people love 8. So, what is your reason for loving 8?
I feel that nostalgia is playing a big role in it, but I know I really like the junction system of the game for whatever reason, and I liked how you could customize it that way. And
You gotta be honest, dude. At end game, if you were able to draw like all the ultimas and all of the auras and everything else you needed, you could make a pretty overpowered team. You didn't feel that was a bit overkill, or
I never really. I don't know about overpowered, but
Really? Like injecting pain onto the status effects in your weapon? You didn't feel like that was
I
OP?
Now you see here, I never really did that.
Oh,
I
okay.
was one of those big, because I haven't played in several years, but back when I played it, I enjoyed like just putting willy-nilly in there because I didn't know what they were doing. All I saw was bigger numbers, and that's what I rolled with.
I
I don't know, and
see.
I guess I really liked it for I don't know whatever reason. It's hard to explain, and that's what I'm saying. Nostalgia is probably a giant factor in my liking it.
And it's just like your first experience with Final Fantasy, so that will always probably stick with you. So it could be
Yeah, it's
probably
like
a little bit biased. I would probably see. Is it safe to? Would I
yeah.
be safe to say?
I mean, it was my first RPG too, so yeah. There's probably a lot of bias in there if I had to be completely honest.
Now, like with a lot of people, people always favored three people. I mean, three of the main people that you could pick from. Who was your team personally? Because I have my three that I favored a lot.
Playable characters or
Playable characters.
oh
What was your three all-star team? Obviously, in the end, you have to use all three.
Zell.
But
Let's see. I used Zell, Selfie, and Squall a lot. The three classic team.
for some reason, I did not like Selphie. I know she's the most powerful like character in that game, but I just couldn't use Selphie. Her personality wasn't for me. That's why I didn't use her.
Oh, that's fair enough. I mean, that's the reason why I didn't like Irvine.
Same thing too. Irvine's supposed to be
I
really
didn't
overpowered
like him at
too,
all.
but I didn't use him either. I picked
Yeah.
him for personality reasons, and I was young too when I played it, so I just thought I picked whoever I thought was the coolest, you know. So my team was Squall, Zell, and Renoa. I never separated Squall and Renoa because of the whole love thing. I
The
thought,
whole lot, yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
Oh.
it's little. I was a little softy, so I couldn't separate the two. Like that moment when you couldn't pick her because she was like down and out. I was torn of who to use. I was like, God damn, I want to use a Renoa. This is lame, you know.
Yeah. No, yeah. For me, I chose Selfie because I liked playing roulette. To be honest, I
Yeah,
just loved
I
yeah
think wasn't
playing.
there a way to like force the end out or something? I don't know to make it. That's why it was so good about Selfie.
Um, yeah, if you bring her health down a lot and do one other thing, I don't know. I think it's like make her max level, and then if you had a PS1, you just open the CD case when you activate her limit break, and you just keep scrolling until you get the end. Then you close the lid again and then use it. And basically that stopped time or something.
I don't know
Never
how I'm
used it
keeping
personally, but that's
this
what I
tank
heard.
up because I'm just totally autopilot zoning out while I'm listening to you. Sorry, but yeah, sorry for disturbing. Go ahead.
Wait, what?
No, I was totally distracted. Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
right. Well, no, basically, you open the PS1 lid, you scroll until you get the end, you win. Because it stopped time.
Oh, that's
That's the cheese on stuff, Selfie.
I think another cheese with Zell too was that the
Oh,
fact that
Armageddon
you could
Fist?
pause between every command. So you could like
You could?
basically,
Oh.
yeah, you could pause, put it in, and then unpause, or something like that. I didn't do it, but I later on read that you could basically have a super long combo with Zell because you could pause in between the commands.
I didn't know about that, but I definitely know if you inputted your I think it's booyah and dropkick or something really quickly, you just get like a million damage or something retarded through his limit break.
Or that could be it too. I don't. There's a little cheesy thing with his limit break as well. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Armageddon, well, quote unquote Armageddon Fist they called it.
Okay. Well, so yours
Yeah.
seems like a pretty typical, honest, like reason of why you enjoy 8 versus nostalgic reasons is your first Final Fantasy. Well, mine, on the other hand, might be a little cheesy. So basically,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little personal here. I was a huge shut-in when I was growing up in middle school and junior high. So I think I was in sixth or seventh grade when that came out, and I would always stick to myself. You know, I was that type of guy who was just a huge wallflower. It's really, I could almost say antisocial kind of guy. Until there's this one girl. Like I could like the way Squall was, how he was so introverted and stuff. Like he was just, he just thought, he didn't need anyone else. It's just all he cares about himself and stuff like that, and he could care less about other people, kind of basically, kind of thing. If I can
Yeah.
recall right, I seeing that personality, I related to him like so strongly. It's like, dude, that's me in a fucking video game. I love this guy, you know. And then
That's hard to believe, to be honest.
no,
I
yeah,
can do now at least.
I'm not gonna like tell you why. Is because until this one girl in seventh grade,
Yep.
she just randomly just it was during mid school year. I noticed like for like maybe a month or so, she started looking at me a lot. She was like always asking. I obviously I could overhear her. Sometimes like she would ask questions about me from like other people, and everyone just tell him like to her. It's like, oh, he doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't socialize. He just doesn't really, if you try to talk to him, he just kind of like keeps to himself, kind of thing. Which is true. I would keep things short-ended. I wouldn't really, socialize. I had the thickest shell ever. And then one day, like, typical lunchtime, I kind of just did my own thing, kind of like stayed in like in a fucking little emo dark corner and did my own thing, kind of. She came up to me, and it was obviously, I I was socially awkward. I did not know how to deal with it at that time, and she just came up to me and started talking to me. And kind of how like Renoa did that with Squall, kind of like broke his shell, kind of thing.
Slowly, yeah.
I basically realized that, hey, this chick is like Renoa, and then I don't know if this is stupid or anything, or this is like what the heck, but um, I don't care. But this is past, and this is my reason of why FF8 is my favorite, just because of this personal reason, is that I saw a big milestone in my life through Final Fantasy VIII. She was my Renoa, essentially. Because by the end of the game, Squall opened up a lot, and basically he kind of realizes that, it's all about friends and stuff, and you can't always go through life, by yourself alone. You gotta have people.
Yep.
If I could recall the story, I haven't played it in a while, but it's somewhere along those lines. Obviously, there's a love story between Squall and Renoa, but the ongoing uh, change of Squall's outlook about his life, and obviously the whole sorcery stuff. But there's like a little side progression of his of the character's development, of Squall's development. Uh, I saw basically I felt like that was me. I was Squall, she was Renoa, and I eventually fell for her. She became my first crush, essentially. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history. Unfortunately, we never got together. I mean, we became really good friends. I obviously, now that I look back on it, I was hardcore friend zoned, but I do still look back and I appreciate her because ever since that first day she approached me, she kept on like approaching me every day until the point where like I eventually opened up to her, and she helped me become. I could easily say, and if I could see her again and meet her again, I would come up to her and thank her, be like, if it wasn't for you to approach me and actually try to talk to me and really kind of break my shell, I wouldn't be the person I am today. That's the kind of influence she had on me, and that is why and as I said, that's a big milestone in my past. She was one of those peoples that you'll never forget. She was a big part of a big change in my life, and that is why Final Fantasy VIII is such like a huge thing for me. So yeah, now you know something personal about me. So
Wow.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
never knew.
Yeah, trust me, dude. I was never like this. There's no way I could do this like my old self. There's no fucking way.
No, you remind me a lot of Zell, actually. But since I saw your character, I was like, I always associated that character with you.
Really, the outgoing Mr. Hot Dog eating guy?
Yep. And Zell was my favorite character in FF8, so there you go.
That is interesting.
I loved his upbeat personality. It's hilarious.
The funny thing is, I feel like you never really lose like your original self, because in certain situations, I will kind of like revert to being so depending on like what situation I am, if it's totally if I like that's great like in a situation where I'm in culture shock, I'm in like in a place that I'm totally uncomfortable with, I have no idea like how to interact in, I will probably shut down and shut back in, you know, because that's initially how I grew up, I guess, and that's like my safe way of, you know, protecting myself from anything I don't understand. You know what I mean? I just let
Yeah,
someone
I know
die.
what you mean.
Whoops. I totally let someone die. Well, it's during that the turtle boss with the cannons, and I'm just shooting the cannon, not letting and not healing people. Whoops. Anyways, this is the first episode where I let someone die. No, actually, no, never mind. Last episode I let a black mage die, but to be fair, he was pulling everything and getting wrecked by like those a huge amount of avises. So, eh.
Oh wait, is it Stone Vigil normal
No, it's
or?
just Storm Vigil hard.
Oh right, yeah, I haven't been there, so damn.
That's right. You haven't unlocked Storm Vigil hard yet. Sorry, spoiler.
No, it's alright. I don't plan to go in there.
No, now the big thing is though, there are a lot of Final Fantasy fans, but there is a lot of Final Fantasy fans who play the console games but don't play the MMO. What got you to play the MMO of Final Fantasy?
Well, I burnt out of WoW basically,
Mm-hmm.
so I was looking for something not WoW, and I was looking up videos on YouTube one day, and I saw FF14, the beta test. I went, hot damn, that looks really good. Like, you know, the graphics, etc., were really nice compared to WoW, at least. Like, holy crap!
Oh yeah, dude.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
so I read up about it. It's like, oh, it's free. Why not? And eventually, I played it, and honestly, the gameplay wasn't that great, but it was different to WoW, so I stuck with it. You know, trying out all the new stuff. You know, just playing it basically, and then the game started getting really good after what, patch 1.18.
Wait, so you
Up to
played from release till like you played all throughout 1.0?
No. I came in just as Tanaka was like moving out of the production. You know, like that 1.16, 1.17 area. So
Okay,
I
so
didn't go. I didn't
you
come through the
avoided
patch.
the whole Sufferfest and the Shitfest in the beginning where like
Yeah,
the
I
game was just
avoided all
bad.
of that.
Okay. Wow.
And so yeah, so I came in basically on the golden, well not golden, but the much better time.
The recovery phase of Final Fantasy
Yeah,
14.
in the end, and yeah, so I really enjoyed it because and then I got Taylor in
How
about
did you get? The thing is
1.19.
Taylor a big Final Fantasy fan or not really? He's
No,
just
he's never played a Final Fantasy game before, and he's never played an MMORPG before. So that was
okay.
his first of both.
Just a quick background for people who, you know, this obviously we're introducing someone new. Taylor is a long time like real life friend of Nono, and they're both from Australia. And you guys have you how long you guys known each other? Like since a long time, middle school or something?
10 years. 10 years now.
Wow. So yeah, so how did you get him in? I mean, obviously he's not the typical MMO gamer type, so how did you get him in? He told me when I talked to him, like briefly, how like what kind of typical games he played. I'm like, how did you get into this kind of game for with the games you are used to playing?
Um, well, one, you know Taylor and his cheapness. Oh, I shouldn't say that on air, should I? Anyway, he basically started getting interested after watching me play it. I was like, hey, look at this. There's all this stuff here, etc.
All
And it
this
was a
stuff.
pretty game. And then, yeah, I said it was free, and he was
But
like,
I thought he
okay,
was
I'll
more
try
like
it out.
strategy games, so I'm like, how did you go from like
No,
wasn't he
he
more
was
of an
more
art?
into first-person games, like first-person shooters, like TF2, etc.
Really? Oh, he didn't tell me that. I thought it was more into RTS games.
Nah, he was an FPS person. I mean, he played games like Soldat, for God's sake,
Wow.
if you know what Soldat is.
I haven't heard that in a long time. I didn't know people.
But
Wow.
yeah, no, he got into it, and we started our venture together. You know, he was a gladiator, I was a conjurer.
God,
He
I'm not
was
paying
the
attention.
support, I was the tank. Yeah, and I think after
I may actually have to use LB
2 or
here.
3 months, we started really getting into it, like playing it every day, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
I actually had to use the
we've
LB
been
to
there since ever since.
get out of this snowball. Wow.
Healing LB?
Yeah. Because I was snowballing
Ooh.
hard. I wasn't paying attention. I just realized I didn't have any illustrates left.
Oh, actually, now I remember what Rereyl got us in when we tried to two-man Toto Rack.
And this is like, he didn't
And
have his account. Did he borrow someone else's account? He didn't like.
no, he made his own account. I mean, it was free, so why not, right?
No, it's true.
But yeah, when we started doing the Toto Rack runs, that's when it started getting really interesting. For us, at least.
What you
Oh, look,
talking about?
it's a dolphin.
Oh, hi.
Introduce him.
Okay, well, I guess we have a surprise guest here. I have to tab out to see who this is. I'm really bad with voices. I'm not in here enough. Is that Fura? No, that is.
Yep.
It is. It is.
Okay, yes,
That-
okay.
That hurts, Ryuji.
Hey, I got it right? So basically, ladies and gents, this is Fura. Just to let you know, Fura, I'm doing a recording right now for one of my Duty Finder talks for my YouTube channel.
Oh, alright.
I'm also currently streaming. So right now, this is perfect timing. Just real quick, we're talking about how we got into Final Fantasy, and obviously we're all Final Fantasy fans here. Real quick, I'm on the last boss, but what is your favorite Final Fantasy and why? And how did you get into Final Fantasy in general? Like, how did you initially become a fan?
Like, for me, well, straight up the first Final Fantasy I played was, well, it was the first one on, like, NES a long time ago, because my cousin had it on original Nintendo, and, like, when I was, you know, like 7, that's all I had, and I thought it was great. Extremely confusing at the time, but I enjoyed it.
Was that your first RPG in general? Like, was Final Fantasy your first RPG?
Actually, you know, I think it actually was, when I think about it. Or, I don't know, like, I'd played some PC games, like, I'd played Diablo 2 at that point. Or not Diablo 2, Diablo 1, I'm sorry. Because, like, I had a piece of shit computer back then, but, yeah, that's just, I don't know, I'd always liked RPGs.
So what drove you to like keep playing Final Fantasy? Like what and which one was your favorite? Like what kept you playing? Like what you like? It was that sole fact the reason why you play 14 now?
Actually, a big reason why I play 14 now is because of, like, well, there's a coffee shop I used to go to, like, back, like, when I was in high school, it's like 2005-ish, and, like, one of my best friends, well, he is my best friend in the world now, he got me to try out Final Fantasy XI because him and his brother played it. So I picked it up for Xbox and everything, and, like, it was about the time it was first coming out on 360. And I just played the shit out of it with him, and that's like how I got to know him and his brother so much. So it was like that's probably a big part of why I play 14 now. Was whenever 1.0 came out, all of us were all stoked for it. We all got it, and you know, built computers, and everything for it, and played it. And then like we all came over to 2.0, and they kind of didn't really enjoy it, and I'm like the only one still playing, but still,
Man.
I still love it.
Hey, I mean, oh shit, I almost died. Anyways, so like, what's your favorite Final Fantasy in general? Like, is this your favorite one, or is there a console one that you just your most all-time favorite?
That's a little bit rough. Like I have to say, I really like Final Fantasy 12. Like, if I
Oh,
had
that's
to
interesting.
say
Not a lot
my
of people say
favorite-
that to be their most favorite one. Can you tell me like
12, like
why?
12, I just like I don't know. I think a big part of what I liked about 12 was the fact that it didn't have the whole based around single protagonist thing going on. Like your main character was not the main character of the story. You were just a guy getting drug along. You're just a normal dude in the wrong place, basically. Like I love that about the game. I don't know. That's what
I've
one of the
never
biggest
heard that.
complaints people. That's one of the
That
biggest complaints
rationale.
I hear of the game. But at the same time, I'm just like, that's part of the charm.
So you're basically in along for the story rather than you're playing the role of a main protagonist. This, or that's or a heroine. That's interesting. Yeah, that's How about so that's the main reason why? Like, because a lot of people say some people say they like 12 because of the entire like the totally new battle system.
Like that, and I'm also like a huge fan of like the more Western Final Fantasies. Like I love tactics, I love that style. It's just that's like a big part of it was the setting. Also, the battle system I wasn't that big of a fan of, like to be honest. But it wasn't like that big of a thing to me because of like how much 11 I'd play. I played at the time, so it's just like, oh hey, this is slightly different, but whatever.
Wow. And also the thing is, since 12 is your favorite, maybe you notice this. Do you notice if you really like think back about the story? It's basically an almost Final Fantasy version of the whole Star Wars story.
Yeah,
You,
yeah, I've noticed that before.
did
Like
you
I didn't
notice?
really
Did you
notice
notice
it when I
that?
was playing it, to be honest. And then like afterwards, someone pointed it out, and I'm just like, oh well, shit. Well,
It's
I'm
Star
sorry,
Wars in
you're
the Final
blind.
Fantasy universe, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're creating this super weapon, and you go in there, you gotta kill it before it destroys. I forgot the whole story, but essentially,
Yeah, it's
it's
been
kind of
a
like the
while
Death
for me
Star.
too.
Oh
Like
shit!
I
I
I
never
realizing.
realized.
You
What's
you
Damn.
didn't realize that? Are you thinking
No, I
back
didn't.
about it now?
Story ruined.
Like
Thanks, guys.
Vaughn is like the Luke Skywalker. You found him in like in the boonies somewhere. He was a nobody at first, and then he was discovered, and then he became like the the person to save.
But at the same time, he's still just a dude.
That's true.
Because like
Yeah.
a lot of the events in the whole Star Wars universe could have still taken place even without Luke is the thing.
Well, unfortunately, I know since Fear just came in, it's a little late notice.
As,
I'm at the end of my dungeon, and I'm going to have to end this episode now. Else, it's going to be like a 40-minute
I know.
talk thing. But honestly, I mean, I do this every evening. I try to, and I export it to my YouTube channel. So maybe later on, if you feel like talking about something else later, you could just jump back in another session. We could talk about something else, or even make this a part 2 later on. Make this a part 1, make it a part 2 later. So, ladies and gents, thank you again for coming and tuning in again. I will be exporting this to YouTube. And any thoughts, any comments, any additional things that did you want to add on, just feel free to uh, you know, comment down below and subscribe and like if you enjoyed it. Till then, see you guys next time.
Was
All right.
fun.